The history of North America's greatest maritime mystery does not begin in the deep forests of Nova Scotia. To truly unlock the engineering enigma of Oak Island, we must travel back 500 years to the sovereign enclave known as the Temple Fee in Bristol, England. Ruled by the military monks of the Knights Hospitaller, this vast estate operated under its own laws, completely outside the reach of the king's law. It was a sovereign liberty, a tax-free, law-free enclave, perfectly insulated from the crown. By the 15th century, the engineers of the Temple Fee had turned this marshland into an industrial powerhouse. They designed deep, timber-cribbed vertical shafts lined with oak rings to tap into clean freshwater tables beneath the mud. They engineered sophisticated, stone-lined conduits and tide-fed flood tunnels, controlled by complex sluice gates to channel the rushing tidal waters. In May 1498, backed by an international syndicate of Hospitaller networks and Florentine bankers, John Cabot set sail from Bristol with a fleet of 5 ships, packed with heavy construction tools, provisions and master craftsmen from the Temple Fee. 4 of these ships vanished completely from the pages of history. They did not sink. They had a map. And they had a destination. Navigating by secret charts, the Bristol fleet pushed deep into the North Atlantic, establishing a strategic maritime resupply base on Oak Island, Nova Scotia. Using the exact architectural blueprints of the Bristol Harbour slipways, they laid down a heavy, unmortared drystone pitching pathway over the soft swamp mud. They dug deep, vertical shafts framed with oak rings for fresh water, and built tide-fed flood tunnels to manufacture salt for fish curing. Decades later, King Henry VIII violently dissolved the monastic orders, seizing the wealth of the Hospitallers. Desperate to protect their assets, the elite networks of Bristol quietly evacuated their vast reserves of gold and religious artifacts to their pre-engineered transatlantic black site. Before abandoning the island, the master engineers executed a final stroke of genius. They deliberately breached the sluice gates of the tide tunnels, permanently flooding the lower chambers with millions of gallons of ocean water, and turning the well into an impenetrable hydro-engineered lock. For over 2 centuries, treasure hunters have failed because they believed they were outsmarting a primitive pirate when they were actually fighting against the collective genius of medieval military engineers. Today, modern science has caught up. Advanced carbon dating targets the wood to the 1400s. Metallurgical analysis on the iron spikes reveals a chemical fingerprint pointing directly to the medieval smelting bloomeries of Bristol. The mystery of Oak Island is finally solved.